What's going on, people? Welcome back to Mandem Football. It's your boy Demeachnyc here. Follow me on Instagram at Demeachnyc. Like, comment, and subscribe on the video below. And definitely follow me on Twitter at Mandem_football to give you some of my insight and more of my at game and at hand perspectives on what's going on in the Premier League and football altogether. Now, in this video, I'm just going to shoot you straight. After watching Arsenal play today against Brentford, I do want to say a couple of things. Number one, great win by Arsenal. I think it was a fantastic performance by the club, especially after, them being the first team to play in the new year. They're starting off 2025 like they did similarly to 2024, just starting off fresh and straight out of the corner, just killing teams like they did last season. And now going into 2025, they're starting the same exact way against Brentford, away from home, where they've been, very bogey against Brentford. There's been a lot of mayhem between both teams because Brentford always seem to do something or get a result against Arsenal, especially in the last few seasons. And for Arsenal's sake, I must say it was a great win. They started off the game pretty poorly with the first goal coming from Mbeumo, but you can look at it and you can say, well, Brian Mbeumo was not really going to score from there at any given point. It was one of those 9 times out of 10 he's not going to score from there. He beat Calafiori and he kind of took his range of motion from him, or his momentum, I should say, and he just basically scored. Calafiori had nowhere to go, and David Raya was not expecting it to be put into his inside post, and the goal went in 1-0 for Brentford. For Arsenal, they came into the second half and they bounced back. They did really well in the second half. So, you got to give credit where credit is due for Arsenal, and for Brentford, they really didn't do much. They had really less than expected goals for them, and I think that's a lot of credit to Arsenal. Like there's a consistency with breaking down the other team and, controlling the game and being really dominant in each phase of play from Arsenal. We look at Everton, we look at Ipswich, we look at Fulham, we look at Sporting, we look at all the games that they've played, given the fact that they haven't lost any of these games, all the expected goals against them have been under 1. Like it's always been 0.2 or 0.3 or 0.1 or even less than that. Like there is literally absolutely no way for the other team to even score. And when they do score, it's from a very unlikely chance. And that's just based on variance, and that's just based on what happens. Anything can happen out of nowhere. And one example of that is today against Brentford for Arsenal. But, a few players by Arsenal played fantastic. And, Ethan Nwaneri, I thought, was phenomenal. I thought he was incredible, and he's one of the reasons why, we've been hearing a lot of things about Ethan Nwaneri over the past few years when he stepped out for Arsenal at the age of 14, and now he's stepping in, starting for them finally. Maybe that's because Bukayo Saka is injured, but he started today, and he was brilliant. I thought Gabriel Jesus is back to his scoring ways. He scored 6 goals in the last 4 games for Arsenal. I thought Martinelli was great today. And, it was an all-around great performance by Arsenal, given the fact that, Saka wasn't there, Kai Havertz was not there today, Declan Rice was on the bench today, Calafiori has finally come back into the team, and now we're hearing that Raheem Sterling is coming back sooner than later. So, there's a lot of good things going on for Arsenal right now. And, I do want to definitely say don't sleep or don't lose hope in Arsenal. If you are an Arsenal fan, if you are someone that's looking at the Premier League and predicting that Arsenal is going to win the Premier League, do not sleep and do not overpass Arsenal, because they're so elite at what they do. And when they're in that momentum, when they got that rhythm going, and when things are really clicking for Arsenal, they are an unstoppable team. You have to remember that Arsenal last season broke a lot of records, as not only for their own club with, the most wins that they've ever had in a Premier League season in their whole history, but they've also done a lot of good things last season. And now we figure out that they worked Out of all the teams in the Premier League, they earned the most points, and they were the top of the calendar year of all of the Premier League teams of 2024. And that's a lot of credit to them, given the fact that they did not start off this season so well. But because of how well they were last season and the end of last season as well, right? And how they are right now, they still managed to be top of the table. Liverpool had more or had as many points as they did, but the goal difference is what beat Arsenal over Liverpool. And I think that's a lot of credit to a team that has yet to really win the top domestic cups or the continental cups in their era of dominance. We can say for Arsenal, they haven't really won trophies yet, but you can't overlook it. You cannot overpass that sort of stride. You cannot overpass how good of an elite team Arsenal are at the moment. And these games by Arsenal come to me as a surprise because of the injuries that's costed them and the red cards and many things that's happened that you look at it and you go, well, how do Arsenal actually cope with all this stuff? How do Arsenal actually cope with all these circumstances that come about them? And they figure it out every single time. So it's going to be a very interesting season for Arsenal, and I think you definitely cannot rule them out only until the last given day of the season because you look at Liverpool and they're absolutely incredible, but if you're anyone that knows the game as well as I do or has been watching football and has played football for quite a long time, you would know that elite teams like Arsenal don't just, fall out of favor out of nowhere. They're going to keep going. They're going to keep the pressure on Liverpool. So definitely do not sleep on Arsenal. I think they have a lot of things going for them right now. And I think if you look into the transfer window, if you are on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, you'll definitely see that Fabrizio Romano has reminded us that the transfer window is open and he will be not sleeping for as long as January is open. So there's so much talk and there's so many rumors and so many things that's going on for Arsenal right now in terms of the transfer window. And the question is who are they going to bring in? Because we all know that Arsenal have been waiting for an elite transitional attacker for quite a while. They've yet to really have that besides Bukayo Saka, who is, I've said it before, is just unstoppable. He's inevitable. He is similar to Mo Salah, where it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how long you practice or you train to stop Saka or Salah. They're going to compete and they're going to, contribute to their teams. And, with the rest of the team now, can the rest of the players do that? They can, but not each and every single week like Bukayo Saka or Salah does. So now that Saka is gone, what is Mikel Arteta looking for in the transfer market? Now, in my opinion, I think the best player for them to sign, who I rate highly, is Victor Gyökeres at Sporting. In my opinion, I think he is overall the best and most complete striker in the world. I think he is better than Haaland. I think he's better than Isak. I think he's better than Lautaro Martinez, Matteo Retugi. I think he's better than Nicholas Jackson. I think he's better than a bunch of strikers. And listen, many people are gonna criticize me, and I've been criticized heavily about this, but I really do think that Victor Gyökeres is the best striker in the world, and it's going to be proven sooner than later when he's at a club, if that club is Arsenal. If they are to sign him, which I think just makes the most sense for them as a club to sign this guy, they will be unbelievable. Can you imagine if Arsenal were to have the likes of Bukayo Saka on the right, Gabriel Martinelli or whoever plays on the left, Victor Gyökeres straight down the middle, and Martin Odegaard playing behind them? I mean, that would blow teams away. And we already know how tactically gifted and intact Arsenal are right now. But if they are to get their hands on a guy like Victor Gyökeres, it is endgame. It really is endgame because there's nothing much they need besides a striker, a top-level striker. So definitely don't sleep on Arsenal. Great win from them today. Over the weekend, there's going to be great games, especially the Liverpool versus Manchester United rivalry derby game that's going to be on Sunday. And I'm going to say it here already. If Manchester United don't get smoked by Liverpool, then that will be even more of a headline than Manchester United getting wiped by Liverpool altogether. They've been shocking. and I'll break that down sooner than later. In other words, have a great new year, guys. It's been a brilliant year, and I'm glad to have you guys here. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.